Hi, my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So this is an exciting day. Yes, it is, because see this blank wall? And it is mid-July, which means my block of the month projects, the 3 of them, I don't have to show them to you again for about 2 weeks till the first one. I am starting the critter quilt today. So we'll get critter quilt number 3 will be done. That way I will be free mentally and physically to do the state quilt once I get all the state fabrics and collect all the state fabrics, and are able to work on that sometime towards the end of this year, I suppose. Maybe it'd be a December project to start. But the design wall is now empty. So excited. Okay, so there's a few other things too that I want to talk about, because the critter quilt is actually going to be in every video a little bit until I finish it. So that way you'll see the progress. It's going to be up on that wall. It is not coming down. Anything else I do, I'm going to show you in some other manner. Okay, so it is scavenger hunt day for July. It's a fun thing I've been doing for quite a few years now. Once a month, I give you a topic, and then you go and look in your space. It's always a sewing thing, to find whatever that sewing thing is and share a picture of it in my Quilt Along with Pat Sloan Facebook group, or you can just tell me about whatever the topic is here in the comments at YouTube. Okay, so we are going to look for needle in a haystack, right? How do you store your needles? Your sewing machine needles, your hand sewing needles. So we've got 2 kinds of needles. So let me just tour my sewing needle storage with you. Let's go. I'll show you where my main needle storage is. I have a lot of needles. They are not super organized, but they are somewhat organized. And so in my Baby Lock Koala unit, I do have these drawers, which this top drawer has a lot of the major stuff. And so needles, I have some hand sewing needles in here. And in this one, I have machine needles. I just keep them in their packets and keep them in these little, you can buy these at the grocery store. And I just find that they stack nice. That's some alphabetties. Why are they in there? They're not being, I don't use them from in here anymore, so I'm going to take those out. This is what happens when you look at stuff, right? Here's some needles that came, they're machine needles that came from Baby Lock. Okay, I'm trying to open this with my left hand, not my most active hand. Okay, so there's some. I just keep them in that container. And this has needles, more machine needles. I work with a lot of manufacturers. They send me their products, and so that's why I have a lot. So these are all different kinds of needles in here. And again, these same Sterlite or whoever makes these things, they're great little containers. I'm sure I have another container of needles under here. Yep, I do. This is all the hand needles. So, you know, I showed you those couple that were, where did I show them? Oh, here. These really need to go in this container. So this container has all the hand needles. So there we go. There we go. That's all different kinds of hand needles, whether they're hand applique, they're tapestry, they're embroidery, and I just keep them in their packets all in here. So these are super little containers. If I can find a place on Amazon that lists them, for those of you who don't have them locally, I'll put that in the description box. Now you get to show me how you store your needles. So that is it. I have quite a few. I have a lot. I mean, I used to teach, so I took things on the road, especially the hand. When I taught handwork, I actually taught needles and gave my students needles to use, sewing needles to use. So I had those extra. That's why I have so many. And the machine needles, I have a lot of different sizes, like I said. So anyways, that's how I do it. And I took the things that needed to be put in different places out of there. So, you know, oh well. So 2 other things we're going to do today. Besides the critter quilt, which we'll do in the end. First, I have something that came in the mail, and this is from Gina in Wisconsin. She sent me, look at this pretty card. Look at that, so gorgeous. And she found some mushroom fabric on Spoon Flower. That's where they print to order fabrics. So look here, she found this for me. Isn't that gorgeous? Look how beautiful it is. So here's the info. So if you are a Spoon Flower shopper, there's some info about it. You can stop the video and see it. Thank you, Gina. Okay, I do have all the mushroom fabrics collected. What is with me in the novelty collection lately? But I have them because I remember those big canning jars. I don't know if you remember back when we did the small canning jars and finished that. I had done a couple blocks of the big one with the mushrooms, and so they're in with those blocks. Okay, the other thing is this kitty quilt. I decided I really, at some point, will start this, but I thought I want to pair it with some fabric. So, the Fruit Loop fabric. Oh my goodness. You can still get most of this, but this is the Fruit Loop fabric, and it is so cute. I used a little bit of it when I did the Breakfast Club, but it did not use a whole lot by any means. The border fabric is so pretty, and I will use this to border the cats. You know, I will put a border on this. And then I've got this gingham, which is so darling, and then all of the different prints. There's some text, so it's got blacks. Look at the watermelon, a kitty with watermelon. It's got the light blues. These are apple. Was that apple? I think, no, that one looks like water. Well, it's got little seeds in the middle. I don't know, that one looks like apples. So, but they're the same print. See, and there's some more black and white, green. Look at this. They're going to be so cute. The kitties are going to be so cute in this. Yellows. Oh, I need to cut some of these for the lemon chiffon, don't you think? Yeah, those two. I have to cut a couple of squares. And then reds. And a little bit of pink. A little bit of pink, like, you know, like this is pink. So this is all now in a bag. And I think at some point, I will start cutting them up and sort of sew it as I sew other things. So I wanted to show you that because I just love it, and I love that fabric. And I thought, you know, if I put the cats with some fabric, it's going to sort of get me thinking about it, get me motivated. Okay, so the other thing I want to show you, hold on. I was getting ready to put this away, but it just occurred to me. I do not like to store projects in plastic bags like this. I just don't. It is sitting there, and I went to put it away, and I'm like, I just really don't like it in this plastic bag. So I'm probably going to see if I have one of my blue tubs, and I will put it in that. The thing is if it's in a plastic bag, if it's out here, I am seeing it all the time, so I'm more focused that it's here. So maybe I'll put it in some other bag. Oh, maybe one of those mesh bags, but then I can't see it. I need one of those clear front bags. That's what I need it in. They're usually not wide, but I'm gonna see if I can jam it in one of them. I'll try it then. Okay, it's also, before I put that away, it's also World Listening Day. So if you are a talker like me, heck, anybody who runs a YouTube channel is a talker. Don't let them fool you. You cannot run a YouTube channel unless you like to talk. It's like, so for those of us who are talkers, listening day means taking the time to listen to somebody and not in our brains be waiting for them to finish so that we can tell our version or answer something. Just listen and enjoy the process today for listening day. And if you are not a talker, share something with somebody and ask them to listen to it. Okay, so that's that. So let me put this away. Hallelujah. Look, this dino bag, and it actually has a pleated bottom. See that? See the pleated bottom? So it's not just, I mean, it's not totally clear, but I put the pattern over here on the side, sort of. See the title above the dinos? Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, the thing is, it is kind of extra wide, so I'm not sure where I'm going to store it, but I'm happy. Happier, much happier. All right, the other project I want to show you before we move to the critters is the dino blocks. Hold on. First, we're going to look at this project. This is with the dino fabric from Tulip Pink, the dinosaur fabric. And here's the first block that I did with the big dino eggs. And then I've got the border print, which has the border like you just saw in that bag. And then I'm going to be using some of this background here for some of the blocks. Now, I ordered more dino eggs. And then I ordered this peach. The peach is very pretty, but I don't like it for the block. I don't. Let me tell you why. Okay, so first, just take a look here. There's some other, we're gonna look at that in a second. So I've got this and this, which are very pretty together. That's not the issue. They're very pretty together. This block, which will be, what has it got? No sashing, so it goes side by side. So it'll have this more dense background next to the dino eggs. And this was what I was thinking would be where the burgundy is, the burgundy fabric. But I decided I don't really want burgundy and peach. That's like a high contrast between these two. And the quilts, I've done 2 of these quilts. Both of them I found I really enjoyed using the same shade of fabric but different, the same color fabric but different shades and different prints, like some a little bit lighter, some a little bit darker. So here is the red version, and the blue version that I did in the Holiday Celebrations book also is the same. Now I have done many other crush patterns. So here's the blue. So, you know, a lot of those too, like different shades. Some are lighter, some are darker. Whoops. So for me, I really like that concept. And so now I went around the other day. Well, quite a few days ago, as a matter of fact. It wasn't in the recent back history. It was probably a month ago that I went around and looked, because I thought, you know, even though this is gorgeous, it's not the concept I want. I want to keep it all in this burgundy. So here are the fabrics that I have. This is the dino fabric here. You can see here. And then I collected up a bunch of burgundies that I owned. I don't think I bought any of it. I owned all of this already. Lucky me, this is why we buy fabric, isn't it? So that when we decide to be insane people and we buy this much yardage and then decide not to use it, we can go to our stash and actually find what we want, which we could have done before we bought the other one. But it is very pretty and I love that design. Okay, I digress. Here we go. So I am going to do different blocks with all of these fabrics. So see? And some are a little lighter, some are a little darker, and this gives me that whole, one's got polka dots, which I did the polka dots, I would do it with here, if I end up using that one. This one's actually a bit more red, but I brought it in, and this is an ombre here, and then of course the one I've already used, and then another magenta, some of these a little bit more magenta, some a little bit more burgundy, and this is probably considered red, but it leans into that sort of pinky red, the dark pinky red. So this is an excellent one. It's got much similar colorway, but darker of what I already used. Okay, so I have plenty. So that is the new goal for this project. So I will work on making one of the blocks with this sort of stardust fabric, the planet sky fabric. Maybe I'll make the first one with this. And then the center, remember the center of each block will have, let me get all these off of here, will have an amazing dino print in it. And so I will be fussy cutting to get some cool image. And I will be going for probably fewer blocks than what I have up there because I want to use this border print, which is massive. It is very tall, so it will take up a lot of space. So we'll see. I'll probably do maybe what is that? That's 3 by 4. I mean, these blocks are big, so I don't know. I might do 4 blocks and just see. What is that like? That's crazy. But I might just do 4 blocks and then see what the border looks like with them. Or I'm not fond of a 2 by 3 setting. It always just feels off for me. Like it's like you stopped and you went like, okay, I'm done. I'm just going to do, 6 blocks. For some reason, that just isn't a scale and that I enjoy. So I don't know. Maybe I'll end up being that big and I'll just put a big old border on it and call it and have it done. We'll see. But I will make one up with the other prints so that we can see the 2 prints together. And I have lots of fabric to work with. Okay. I guess I will go to the other side and we are going to look at the critter blocks. The wall is here. So I'm going to bring them here and we'll look at them here. So I have all the blocks in this picnic basket here. This metal picnic basket. It's a vintage basket. And I've got all the blocks in here. So what I'm going to do is we are going to just take them out because I need to make some sort of a, I don't know, size category. I think that works best for me when I make things in a particular size. This has got all kinds of little lace and stuff. This is a bunch of little tiny appliques that would need to be fused down. So I will, those are tiny, very tiny. And here is kind of a medium chameleon, a medium cat. So I don't even know what's in here. These are some extra fabrics. It's not blocks. I think is that a block? Yeah. Okay, is this a block? Yeah, there's some blocks in here. So there's some feet. There's a bird. Okay, so there's some smaller blocks in there. So that goes in the small block size. So let me do so that I don't take all the time just mulling through these, because you are eventually going to see all of these blocks. You know you are. Here's some kitties. So you will eventually see them all. And they will all go in the quilt. Yes, they will. Every one of them for the 3rd and final quilt. Then I've got some that are maybe a little bit more medium size because of the height. Yeah. Oh, look at the gnome. This is fun. I haven't looked at these in a while. Here's a piggy that I'm not sure if it came from somebody else. I think so. Not in that bag. Then I have, okay, so here I have them all folded up. Then there's a bunch of extra fabrics people sent me in there to sort of use if I need them. But this whole stack, let me just sort them. Oh, there's some more fusible. I don't know how much of these guys will go in, maybe just a couple here and there to fill in. And so, yeah, there's an elephant. And so they were all done by color, if you remember. So I had, certain colors that I kept. These are a bit more of earth tones, a lot of, the grays, the browns, the darker greens, not the bright colors. So, all right, let me go ahead and remember, you can go to I'll sort them, but remember you can go to the Critter Quilt page and you're not going to see photos. That was too overwhelming. But you will see the name of a block, like a mouse block, and then if I had a link to where the pattern was. And that's on the Critter Quilt page at my website, I Love to Make Quilts. I'll be right back. The mail came while I was filming this, and this came from Peggy in Texas, a beautiful card. She's actually the Peggy that I showed you the anniversary quilt. She did the whole quilt, and she sent along some goodies for Greg and I. Thank you. Ah, you're so sweet. So sweet. Okay, I've got 3 sets. Let's take a look. This is the larger blocks, and I will put larger blocks up first. This is a set of medium blocks, and they're all, you know, close in size. And what's nice is that a few of these I can trim them down. Like this one can come in just a little bit if it needs to, and I can trim it that way if I need to on a few of them. And then here are the smaller blocks. There's some couple smaller blocks in here that I'll get out, and then a bunch of these tiny little ones that will only be used very sparingly. I mean, I have to stitch them down. They're just full fusible shapes, and so there might be, I'll try to get at least one in on here. We'll see, because there's a lot of blocks already here. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put everything up on the wall, but I'll do it in little sections. I'm going to take and put all the large blocks up first. This is what I do. I just put them up. It doesn't matter how they really look, and my quilt will be approximately the size of my wall. That seems to be a decent size, because remember, the critter quilts are being donated to very specific organizations that will display them in some way. We've already given to a church and a child protection agency. And I'm sorry, we gave to a school, an elementary school, and the child protection agency. And so they are going to be on display. This third quilt is going to be given to some organization that will also have it on display. And they just don't have room for a lot of big things. So that's the size it has to fit into all of these blocks, because this is the last quilt. Let me just put them up on the wall, and we'll take a look at the big blocks first. There are the big blocks. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are no massive blocks on this one. I would say like the tiger and the koala are the largest blocks. The tiger can be trimmed down just a little bit, and some of the ones like the squirrel can be trimmed down a little bit. The moose can be trimmed down a little bit. So, okay, let me put the next group up. I shuffled a few things around, and I put in 13 medium-sized critters. It's like the dog, the cat, the chameleon, this dog, the buffalo, the gnome, the squirrel, the owl, the cardinal, the mouse, there's a deer, so that cat, the goose. So I did shuffle a few things, and I am, even as I'm putting this up here, looking to balance some of the heavier colors. A lot of orange, this pink, red. There's just a lot of brown and grays, which is what I saved off. So there aren't as many with these pops of color. So I just want to be sure they don't all like end up in one corner. So I'm, you know, shuffling them just as I'm putting them up. But like right now I'm thinking the chameleon will probably come down a little bit. But yeah, that's looking good. Let's put the small ones. And 17 small blocks for a total of 42 blocks up here. Wow. Wow, that's so cool. This is going to have, I'm seeing here or feeling already that is going to be pretty condensed, that there's not going to be a lot of spacers. But let's look up close, because I have room for fabrics. Spacers, spacers, spacers. There's a little bit under the birds up there, on the left of the tiger. Down here I have some space to shuffle things. It's just I can't see it behind there as well, so I didn't place anything right now. These birds have to face each other. They have to. They're so darn cute. You know, there's a spacer around the hummingbird, under the deer, so there's a little bit of space under the frog. I took 4 of the fusibles. These two, the stinking cute penguin and flamingo with the dots. See them? And then I grabbed a pig and a goldfish to make that sort of row up there, which I have to sew all those. But yeah, and I took those, the cardinal and the blue jay, because they're made by the same person and they're kind of made in the same style. I thought they looked really pretty together. They may not end up together, but I thought for right now. So there we go. This is first draft, because I will most likely move some things to get maybe a little different color balance. We'll see. And then I'll use spacers. Like if I've got this hot pink, I can bring in some pinks or reds and spacers over in this area to bring in a bit more red. I could bring in a bit down lower. There's some nice teal, nice blue, teal, and that green's a bit of green up on there on the koala too. So those can be the spacer colors. Yeah, so it all, it's dictated by what I have and what's going on, what it needs to sort of make it come alive as a full quilt. What fun, what fun! Critter quilt number 3 and the final. So I have my notes, how many of each that are up there. And what I will do is take a picture of this as it is, put it on the critter page, and then as I go along over the days and make adjustments or start adding and sewing sections, I will put photos. I will replace the photos so that you can see the progress of critter quilt number 3. And I don't worry so much about construction at this point. I don't need to worry about that because I'm going to have to trim the blocks. I'm going to have to go to my computer and draft it all out. I will have to measure all those blocks so I know each of their sizes and actually write myself a diagram pattern, a loose pattern, so that it's basically draw a diagram and put the sizes in it so that I know what I'm working with and what I want in the spots. But I won't do that until I have a layout that I like, and then it'll take me a little bit to do that on the computer so that it all fits together mathematically and is sewn and is flat and beautiful. All right, my friends. Such fun. So thank you to everybody. Thank you to everybody who sent these. You can see all of the patterns or the animals listed in patterns over on the critter page. So I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. We will see you online.